Stop for a second. If the ground beneath you started sinking right now, slowly, quietly, and no one around you noticed, how long would it take before you realized you were already standing on something hollow? Because that's exactly what this felt like. And before I take you there, do me one small favor. If you like real grounded horror, the kind that could actually happen, make sure you like this video and subscribe. I don't tell ghost stories, I tell the ones tied to real places. And this one still bothers me. I wasn't supposed to find it. No one was. According to every county record in southern Missouri, it never existed. No property filings, no township registration, no census listing between 1900 and 1950 that matches what we saw. And yet I walked through it. Deep in the Missouri Ozarks, the land doesn't feel empty. It feels aware. Limestone ridges fold over each other. Sinkholes open overnight. Entire sections of forest drop without warning because the rock underneath dissolves slowly in groundwater. You can be miles from the nearest road out there and still feel like you're being watched. We were heading toward a place locals only referred to as the Hollow. No one would mark it on a map. No one would guide us directly. The only thing they said was simple. Don't stay after sundown. They wouldn't explain why. After nearly 2 hours pushing through cedar and brush, the air changed. It smelled metallic, not like blood, like wet stone, like the inside of a cave. Then the trees opened. The ground dipped into a circular limestone basin, hidden by steep ridges on all sides, and inside it was a town. Not ruins, a town. 7 cabins stood upright, a blacksmith shed near the edge, a central well, laundry lines still hanging between posts. It looked paused. We stepped into the first cabin, and that's when my stomach tightened. The table was set, tin cups upright, plates laid out, bread hardened mid-slice as if someone had been cutting it and stopped. One hearth still had logs stacked neatly inside. There were no collapsed roofs, no fire damage, no vandalism. Abandoned places decay. This didn't look abandoned. It looked interrupted. We checked GPS, nothing marked. Later we checked land records, nothing. It was like someone built a settlement and then deleted the paperwork. But that wasn't the worst part. There were no graves, not one burial marker anywhere near the basin. For a settlement that size, even if it lasted 10 years, there should have been something. A child, an elder, someone. There was nothing. And that's when it stopped feeling historical and started feeling wrong. If you had been standing there with me, would you have gone deeper into the basin, or would you have walked away? Comment deeper or leave. I'm serious. I want to know what you would have done. Because we went deeper. The well at the center wasn't naturally dry. The limestone beneath it had collapsed inward, forming a narrow vertical shaft. We dropped a rock. No sound came back, not even an echo. The Ozarks are built on karst geology. Water eats limestone from below. Caverns form slowly. The surface thins until one day it gives way. That's the logical explanation, but logic didn't explain the silence. No birds called from the rim. No insects buzzed in the grass. Even the wind seemed to pass over the basin instead of into it. You could clap your hands and the sound felt swallowed, like the air refused to return it. Inside another cabin, we found children's shoes near the door, small, hand-stitched. On a bed frame, initials were carved E.M. Next to it, a height chart scratched into the wood. The last mark read 3 feet 8 inches. There was no dust inside the carving. It looked clean, like it hadn't been sitting there for decades. That's when I first felt it, not fear, pressure, like something under the ground was pushing upward. We decided not to camp inside the basin. We set up just outside the rim. At 2:13 in the morning, I woke up, not to a sound, to vibration. It was subtle at first, then stronger. The ground beneath my sleeping bag hummed, low, deep, like distant machinery. But there were no roads for miles, no power lines, no industry, just forest. The vibration lasted maybe 20 seconds. Then it stopped. The next morning, one of the cabins had shifted slightly, leaning inward toward the well. Now here's the theory that makes sense. A small off-grid settlement forms in the early 1900s. They build over limestone. Groundwater slowly dissolves the rock beneath them. A cavern expands, the center weakens. Eventually, part of the town collapses inward. Survivors flee, too few to report widely, ashamed, traumatized. They relocate and never speak of it again. Over time, erosion hides the damage. The forest reclaims the edges. Records get lost. That explains most of it. It doesn't explain the warmth. When we first entered the basin, one hearth wasn't cold. It wasn't hot either, but it was warmer than the surrounding stone. We checked with thermal imaging. It was several degrees above ambient temperature. No embers, no tracks, no signs anyone had been there. And the ground near the well felt thin. When I stood over it, it felt like standing on a drum. Before we left, I dropped another rock into the shaft. This time I heard something, a splash, then a pause, then movement, slow, circulating, like water flowing through an expanding cavern system below. Like the space down there wasn't finished forming. When we climbed back to the ridge and looked down, something else unsettled me. From above, the basin didn't look like a town anymore. The cabins blended into shadow. The well disappeared from sight. It looked natural, untouched, as if the place only reveals itself when you're inside it. I've tried to go back since then. Same GPS coordinates, twice, different forest, no clearing, no basin, no town. The Ozarks shift constantly. Sinkholes form and close, ground rises and falls. But I don't think that town was erased by paperwork. I think it was erased by patience, swallowed slowly. And if the cavern beneath it is still expanding, if that limestone is still dissolving, then somewhere out there, the ground is still thinning. If this story got under your skin even a little, make sure you like the video. It helps more than you think. And subscribe if you want more real places like this. Quiet ones that don't announce themselves. Because next time, I'm taking you somewhere even more isolated. Some towns don't disappear all at once. They sink, and sometimes they're still sinking.